Boundaries. We have become so good at setting boundaries that when we do, it feels like it's the word of God. And once it has been spoken, everyone must obey and must follow the boundary request that we made. And then we're expecting somebody to act in accordance with our desire, which may or may not be in flow with who they are. It may break their boundary. And it's not a collaborative way of being with somebody where you decide together the vision of your relationship and your connection going forward. So there are times to consider, when does the boundary really fit in? Let's also understand boundary a little bit more right now and what we could communicate instead of boundary to achieve what we want even more powerfully than just with a straight boundary. So one thing to keep in mind is that a boundary is often us trying to manipulate the world around us or the way that somebody is acting so that we can avoid a feeling or experience that we don't enjoy. However, I feel it's our responsibility to either make choices to engage or not engage with what may lead in the direction that doesn't feel good, but also to learn to adapt and to flow with life. What I would recommend instead of just cutting and setting a boundary is sharing how you feel, just how you feel in response to something that's going on. Give yourself space to process that, but also to communicate that. So the first thing is that when you speak it and you process it, that might be enough to resolve it for you. But the second thing is that you're bringing awareness to the other person as to the impact on you. And then they may make the choice themselves to say, oh my gosh, I don't want you to feel that way. I'm not going to do that anymore. And then they're making the choice themselves. And people are always more willing to do something and accommodate to something when they make the choice. But they also might say, gosh, like, I don't want you to get hurt. I can see how that hurts you. Okay, they might not be this good of a communicator, but ideally, this is what's happening. I don't want you to get hurt. And it really is me to be this way. So let's talk about this some more. Let's understand this some more and see what choices we can make together about what feels right for this moment. So I want to say this too. If there's a giant rock that pops itself in a river, starts to form, it moves, it rolls into the river, whatever it might be, the river doesn't say to the rock, my goodness, would you get out of my way? Get out of the river. You are not allowed to be in the river. The river just flows around the rock. So when I hinted before about it really being our responsibility to figure out how we're going to shift according to how we feel in response to the rock sitting in the river, there's that example of how can we flow with life and make choices on our own of how to move forward without putting demands on somebody else that isn't necessarily right for them, or expecting that the rock will always just get out of the river because you asked it to, right? Expecting people to follow your boundary just because you said it. So just because you spoke it doesn't mean it's the word of God. So let's think about boundaries again. Let's tip the scale back to where there's more balance. Now that we clearly know how to communicate boundaries, we can express it. Let's make sure that we hold firmly within ourselves what feels right for ourselves. And let's do it in collaboration and in flow with the world that's happening around us. Blessings to you.